What was high school like for you?
High school was a big kind of a big equalizer. All through 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, there were the cool people, and then there was everybody else, and then there were the kind of geeky, not so, and I was geeky, not so. And somewhere, well, the big, see, it was the 60s. So the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan, and suddenly people were growing their hair and doing this, and I was one of the ones that grew my hair and picked up a guitar. But when we got to high school, there was room for everybody, and it seemed like you could be in a clique of 15 to 25 people, and that was your group you identified with. So you didn't have to, you weren't at the mercy of hoping, well, maybe I should go out for track.
Right.
You know, I could keep my long hair and go out behind the swimming pool area and have a cigarette with the ne'er-do-wells. You know, even though I was kind of geeky. I guess I moved from geeky to hip, sort of long-haired musician type in my freshman, sophomore year.
Right, right.
Because I certainly was that by the time I graduated. That's pretty much who I was.
Right, so were you part of the hippie movement, or were you just sort of on the...
Really too young, actually.
Gotcha.
To be part of the hippie movement. The hippie movement was pretty much 64 to 68. It was pretty much over with, although Madison Avenue and the ad world had glommed onto it and was going to milk it for all it was worth all the way into mid-70s. The real hippie movement took place around 64 to 68 in San Francisco. And in those days, being born in 52, I was, 12 in 64. Speaking of the hippie movement, when I was 12, right at that time was when Ken Kesey had gotten that bus and painted it and took all the pranksters on their famous trip around America. That was in La Jolla, and I'm not exactly sure where that is, but it's south of San Francisco.
Right.
They came up to Larkspur and rented a house on Ward Street. And I remember riding up to that bus on my bicycle and looking at it and thinking, I've never seen anything like this, and talking with a few of them and had no idea who I was talking to or what it was really about. And then later I read, the electric Kool-Aid acid test and On the Road, and went, oh my God, I was talking with those very people.
Oh man.
Right there at the height of the hippie movement, when it was all going on. I was just a 12-year-old kid on a Stingray bicycle. So
man.
by the time I was 15, I was, bell bottoms and long hair and that kind of thing, and sort of a pseudo suburban hippie.
Right,
We'd
right.
hitchhike over to San Francisco for the concerts and things like that, and go hang out in Golden Gate Park and smoke joints with strangers and take our lives into our hands. But no, the real hippies were, I guess they were the 21 to 30 crowd in the very earlier 60s. So
Gotcha.
I guess I was a teeny bopper.
Right, right.